Alright, well, hey, welcome everyone.
G'day.
G'day, you know, g'day.
G'day. We'll leave that out.
Today, we have dressed as Clement.
Casino Royale, James Bond, baby.
James Bond, baby. Nice of you to dress up, Max.
I know, I didn't even know the theme. I'm not far off.
Yeah, no, you've done it right, actually.
You've
Got a
actually done
jacket,
all right.
I'd get away with it, wouldn't I?
I think the thing is, like, as obviously the episodes progress, I think that people are just going to start turning up, like we said, in random outfits and hope that they're gone with a theme.
I was honestly going to dress up in something mad
Well, you
today.
messaged me at about 11 a.m. this morning. Like, what are you wearing today? Are you going to wear something
So
outrageous?
I thought, you know what, I'd get involved in the theme, but he's like, it's a surprise.
Yeah,
It's always a surprise.
It's a surprise for the guests. We don't want them outdoing us, do we? So, Clem, go on, tell us.
Who are you
Well,
wearing?
I've got a special sort of little bond with James Bond and
Bond with Bond. Oh,
Wow.
and I'm a massive fan of Daniel Craig and his first movie, Casino Royale. The douche.
You're looking suave,
I
my
am.
friend.
You do look sweet.
you do
Well,
look very handsome.
Good. I've come straight from the office. I wish that was a gag. It's true. I've just come from work. But I've seen Daniel Craig in a grey suit before.
I have come as, what's the dude's name again?
Sean Connery. You're obviously a big
Sean
fan.
Connery, yeah, on the beach.
Oh, I respect that.
And
One thing I would say is knowing
you want to close those legs.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
It's making me uncomfortable.
Knowing that
Not
he's
even
gone
opposite.
commando, this guy, he told everyone that he goes commando, so probably...
we'll just put a censored over my crotch for the entire episode. But
You slut.
yeah. When I found this outfit for the lads, I was like, you won't believe what I'm
Why
coming as.
did you buy that shirt for this, or you had that?
We literally just saw him rip the tag off.
Yeah.
Oh, you did buy it. I was about to say, if you owned that before,
Yeah. Yeah, so
what you doing, mate?
I'm sort of Sean Connery if he was a porn star. So that's sort of what I've come
Do look like an
as.
80s
What would Sean
sponsor.
Connery be like as a porn star, do you think? Because I don't know if there's a lot of Scottish porn stars. Anyone care to weigh in?
That's the most
Oh, yeah.
absurd question I've ever heard in my life.
Welcome to Screaming Meals,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah, welcome to
5
Screaming
minutes.
Meals.
Good to see it. We've been trying to get you on since
Forever.
Since forever.
You were actually you were meant to be the first guest. Before
I?
even me.
Was I be the debut?
Actually, that's not
no.
exactly true.
No.
We might have to cut this bit out or at least beep some names, but I think
supposed to be the first
Really?
guest.
said no.
Without very very vague plan, we said right. Felipe Clem and blah 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 blah. Fewtrell episode number 6 when it's peaking.
Yeah. We're really in the swing of things, you know.
Yes. Anyway, I know you've been eagerly awaiting today, so
I know, I'm very excited to be
I've
here.
seen a few videos of you answering fans on your Twitch stream there about asking about the old Screaming Meals.
I know, they've been piling in at me ever since you guys started this, so here we are. What's up, the fans?
well, you are my favorite retared racing driver, let's say.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
what?
sure.
Retired? You've got, like, favourite drivers and retired drivers. I like to call it a sabbatical, that's the right word.
Sabbatical?
I'm
Yeah.
just taking some time off. I might be
Yeah.
on a track soon.
Well, honestly, I don't blame you after competing against us in 2019. But firstly, you
I
guys
don't want to talk about that.
you guys were racing each other in
2014.
2014?
Yeah, that year
KF
you were with
KF3.
Unbelievable Waft and
Here we go.
it was just sort
It's
of...
already started.
His engines kept seizing every week, so they were that illegal.
We shall
It's
not
like
delve...
Clem's on the Marshall post going, oh, he strapped the best engine on, obviously. Done. Blown up after 3 laps because it's on 29,000 RPM down the straight.
I remember the first time I raced you, actually.
Do you? When was it?
2014 Kirpen German Championship.
Kirpen.
It was that race that Logan Sargent broke his arm, I think. It was his arm. Do you remember that?
Kirpen, you need to remind me of this later.
Kirpen.
Is it where all the chicanes
Like
are?
last chicane, like...
It's like,
Was that when
And
you
then
were
Was
that
like
the
a
really-
Cosmic or something?
Yeah, it was my
you were
first race.
Cosmic, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so Logan broke his arm. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
At T1, it was Armstrong driving that line. It was starting about P10.
Right. So you broke Logan's arm.
No, I was starting,
P10 German champ.
no, actually, it was
Love
no,
it.
it was maybe it was P8. No, I was on the inside, so it was probably
P7.
P7 more or
Because
less.
this matters.
And
As he's
I think he
verdict.
was off P3, and I've just pushed the line so hard. Logan's
Honestly, this bloke at the starts.
flipped. He's gone
Until KZ.
catapulted.
He did it to me in La Conquer. I fell out the go-kart. No, Tom fell out. You hit Tom Bale. I remember Leconca, the hairpin, remember?
Yes.
We were in KF. It was like Champions Cup or something. I'm starting like 5th. Tom's behind me, 7th, you're 9th or whatever. I remember going into the hairpin and just... Tom's come past me out of the wagon. Like, just his body. Just his body. You're behind us on the curb. Like, lovely, I'll take that. So we've been absolutely launched. I've looked back. Tom's stuck to the tarmac because of the conga with his suit like this. And he's gone through and I'm out the race.
You can talk so much shit because racing you was maybe one of the most scary experiences of my life, because when you're behind someone, you don't overtake. You just push. Like, I'm not going to get my tyres dirty. You know when Fewtrell was behind you?
Yeah.
You just get
Well, to be honest, the funny story I have about Leconca is...
It's true, mate.
It's just because you're sour about Red Bull.
When Fewtrell's got... I am. We'll get to that. But
This idiot. Right, go.
in karting, you were like, F you, I'm not just going to pass you cleanly. I'm going to make sure you know I'm behind you. And I'm just going to hit you the entire lap. And eventually I'm just like, fuck, can you just pass me already?
Exactly, mind games.
Mate, honestly, to be honest, the time that sort of my introduction to international karting was actually probably a couple of races after just started in 2014. I remember you were there, obviously, with an arm in RFM. And I was in Cosmic, and somehow, some way, in one shape or form, I managed to do a really, really good lap in qualifying at the European Championships for the first round. Somehow, because this is my first time, I was like, oh, somehow.
You come in and the mechanic's like, P2,
Yeah, exactly. I was very surprised, and so I was starting on pole for 3 of the 6 heats that we were partaking in at Leconca, and obviously this was before the front fairings. I didn't see the end of those 3 laps, because by the time I got to turn 3, the hairpin, I was pretty much on my head every single time. And so yeah, you're probably a couple rows back, right? Pushing along.
I was probably ahead of you if it was your first.
I was starting on pole.
You had the fastest engine in go-karting I have ever
Honestly,
seen.
he says this about everyone.
Fast.
Everyone but him
Clem,
had a good
will you
engine.
back me up on this?
Well, I can remember a 2015 go-kart race at Leconca International Circuit where I finished 2nd at the World Championships, and I could sort of see an RFM wagon, which did seem to have the
Subtle
Max
flex.
Fewtrell seal on the engine.
Max Fewtrell seal.
That kept,
What a wanker.
it kept sort of distancing me out of the corners, and I was like, well, do you know what? I might as well be world champion, because he's in a different league. So obviously,
Were you at that World Championships, James? Or?
I was actually. Yeah, I was actually officiating the event. So I was up there in the tower. I saw all of this stuff going on, and I thought, you know what?
That's
these guys-
true. It's true about this engine, though, isn't it?
It is. I
Massively.
came to him at the start of the
Massively
weekend,
so.
gave him 10,000 euros cash, and we moved on. He never scrutinized it once.
That makes sense.
There was some mad stuff going on in karting there.
Yeah.
Oh, there was.
Not with us, but certain teams.
And there was some stuff going on the track as well.
Yeah. But certain teams, that engine were going there for 3 hours, come out, it's okay. Yeah, right.
I mean, it helps if you're Italian. But we'll dust
Anyway,
over that.
Yeah, we'll
I'd imagine for karting, you would have just been like beautifully oblivious to anything technical going on whatsoever.
I'm still beautifully oblivious to just about everything in the world. All right, let's
Is this going to be another Marcus bashing episode? I love those.
Oh yeah.
I'm up for that.
I'm not key. I'm not
Keep
Keezy.
coming back if it is.
Please don't.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first, fans.
Anyway, so as I was trying to point to before, I wasn't talking about 2014. I was talking about 2018. Formula Renault. You two raced each other. No.
We were in the same championship. I was at the back, he was at the front. So we really didn't race each
I
other.
never really saw him on track. Apart from when in practice he'd like let me pass.
It's
Yeah.
like F2.
But he's very clean
2.0.
always. If he's on his cool down lap, he always gets out of the way. Good bloke.
I am actually a very good bloke for that.
He is.
Only
He is.
one's got a penalty
There
for
are some
really
proper-
screwing someone.
Go on.
This year, Jenna. Sorry to my mate. Well, not really. Yeah, we got Ollie Caldwell. Just sort of didn't get out the way and just actually moved into him. But anyways, we'll move on from that.
Yeah. All's well that ends well, eh?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Anyway, so you won that championship obviously in 2018.
You
Describe
won,
us.
yeah.
I did win.
2018, great year in general. Just a bit. Were you living in London at the time?
No, I was in and out of London. I was just really happy all year.
Summer was fantastic. The
Summer
World
was
Cup
great.
was on.
World Cup.
Great Love Island season.
Exactly.
Actually, yeah, maybe that's an
Yeah.
option for you.
I think the
Like,
best
you'd
thing
go
for
around
me
Love Island.
with that year was if I did do a good lap, I was actually at the front.
Yes.
I wasn't 9/10 off in each sector.
Well,
so that was always a
Coming into
Welcome to my life.
2019, I remember there was almost like, I remember ART, they had 3 good drivers, really good drivers. You obviously had just won Formula Renault.
Yep.
Christian, I think, finished second in Formula
He
Renault.
was second, yeah.
And then Beckman, who was, I don't know how he performed.
He'd had a lot of experience in F3 at that point,
Yeah.
so we were expecting.
He'd won a couple of races the year before in
exactly.
GP3.
He'd done a few years of F3 because he went to F3 really early, so.
And obviously ART was like notoriously good, so it was like, okay,
Yeah,
these...
because it was just transitioning from GP3 to that F3
Yeah.
car, so we were thinking ART, team to be with.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking almost the same. When I was with Prema, obviously Prema came from the other F3 championship, and we were like, okay, these guys are going to be hard to beat for sure. High Tech will also be hard to beat. They had 3 good guys as well.
And I remember you said you only thought that until the first new tyre run at the preseason test, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think that's when I also realised I've got a long season ahead of me.
Oh,
It's a
mate.
very sad afternoon, that was.
That-
You ended up having quite a short season ahead of you, didn't you?
No,
No, not that one. I finished that one.
Yeah,
I
oh,
finished
right,
that one.
nice.
Up and down, but there was glimmers of hope.
Yeah, so preseason testing. So we've come into it. New tyre run. P1 by 4/10. And I'm like, that was all right. Come in, Weybridge. They give me the piece of paper with the weight on it. And I'm like, kilos overweight. And I've just obliterated the field. We're going to beep out the numbers. And then I'm like, how the fuck is this possible? And my teammates were like 5th and 7th, whatever. Sweet. I think you were like P3 that day.
I was alright. I wasn't bad.
And I was like, that's unbelievable.
Just the gap was a bit concerning.
Yeah, but you obviously didn't know how much weight we had in the car as well. So
Well, I was presuming it was probably about 400 kilos, so we were worried. I was.
we
Rubbing a bit of salt into the old wound there, mate.
Yeah,
at what
true.
point did you realise, shit, we're not on the pace this year?
First quali.
Really?
What happened in the
That
first
early?
quali?
Not a lot by the sounds of it.
No, Barcelona. It was just the. I wasn't actually bad in Barca. The qualifying, I didn't do a good job, but in the race, I was like top 5. But it was just the race pace and the no deg for you guys that I was just like, geez, it's going to be a long year. But it was kind of more throughout the season I realised how much faster you guys were. Not the first race, because I thought
We laugh about it, Clem. Everyone
there's
has a story.
2 races with him that
Go
I
on.
realised.
Go on.
First one was, I'll start with the not ridiculous one.
Which one?
Spa. You won't really remember it. It was just like mid-race. I've got deg already, like 8 laps in. I'm like, fucking hell. I mean, clean air at least. Got this bloke. My mirrors are just this red Prema car. And he's following me through all the high speed like this. I'm like, how the fuck is his tyres not overheating? Got deg or whatever.
That's the 4th shot of tequila.
Yeah,
that
by
you're
the way, every
drinking
time you
out.
say tired egg, you're going to do a shot of tequila. Chin up, mate.
Good luck to you. Looks like Maddox is going to be a rough night tonight.
Yeah. You know,
Really?
before when we were on the fence whether or not you're going out tonight.
And I was surprised he wasn't having any tyre problems. Does that count as a shot?
Yeah.
That's the
fine.
5th one.
What do you mean? Anyway, okay, whatever. And then after about 5 laps of him sat behind me, because if I sat behind someone for a lap round Spa,
You'd be dead.
the next lap
see you
was
later.
1.8 seconds off. I was out.
Yeah.
He comes past me, and then the next lap, you must have dropped me by at least 2 seconds in sector 2.
In sector 2. I
Yeah.
thought you meant a full lap.
And he was
as in-
gone, like gone. The worst one for
I
me.
don't even remember that, honestly.
No, you won't, because that
Let's-
scarred
let's-
me. That was just probably another normal overtake for you.
Let's wait. What's the worst race you ever did? Go on, you're about to say it. In Paul Ricard, right?
It's
Yeah.
not. I
Is
think
it not
the one
Ricard?
you're talking about is Monza, aren't you?
Yeah, that was really horrible.
Was it Monza?
It upsets me talking about
I remember
Monza.
this,
This
actually.
is what I was going to tell him.
Oh.
My worst ever race? I don't know.
No. In the
They
sense
were all
like that
pretty
year.
horrific in
No, I mean like worst in comparison to like, holy shit, that guy's fast.
Monza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Monza.
Monza. I thought he was gonna
Or
do-
Sochi. Sochi was ridiculous.
Well, I remember Monza. From my perspective.
Didn't Jahan drive through the field with no DRS?
So yeah, this is what I was going to get to. So I qualified right in Monza. I was like fourth,
Well, all three of us had penalties.
but we all didn't move anywhere on the grid.
No, so I think you were already pole, no?
No,
Something like
Chris
that.
Lundgaard was pole.
Okay.
I was like third or fifth, one of them.
And I qualified
got-
second,
yeah.
but I had like a 10 place.
I had a 10
penalty.
place penalty, but still started like fifth.
Okay, well, us three, we started like 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Yeah. So I've started within the end. Was it the end of the first or second?
End of the
lap?
first lap.
End of the first lap. He started like 9th. I was fourth or fifth. I've gone into Parabolica, like not even thinking there's anyone behind me to defend or whatever. Turned in, done my normal line, got on the power, like completely normal, not aware of any cars around me. I'm just turning in on the power, going out to the corner. This bloke has come round my outside like that, pulls back ahead of me before I even get to the exit curve of Parabolica, and pulls away like this. I just...
And then passed a guy down at the next
And then
corner.
past the next geezer ahead of me, who's a second ahead of me at the time, into turn one.
No, I was going to ask about Paul Ricard because obviously Marcus, that one race in 2019 obviously stalled at the start and was dead last. And pretty much any guest that we've had on has got a
yeah.
story.
I do remember that.
Yeah, everyone's got their own.
Everyone's got a story.
Everyone's got their own
Everyone's got a
victim
story.
I don't
story.
actually remember that weekend, I'm not going to lie. I
well-
erased it from my
Well, I
head.
mean, we were talking to Felipe early on, obviously, when he was on with me when I was back when I was a guest. And, so we were talking about that particular race where he was fighting, tooth and nail against his teammate. And just Marcus went round the outside of turn 11 as if nothing happened. And
Yeah.
about 2 corners later, Marcus was gone. And he wasn't there anymore.
That's what it was like that season. It was ridiculous.
I felt like he was driving. Obviously, I was
Red
watching
Bull
from
Ring?
the
What
outside.
about Red Bull Ring?
Red Bull Ring, I come in.
You're always pretty quick at Red Bull.
Yeah.
I've said
Yeah.
that before.
No.
It was Yuri in the lead. I was second, Marcus third. We're all within about, 5/10 of each other.
Yes. Excruciating.
But I was doing the last corner wrong. I was in the wrong gear the whole race. So that's why I would never really get close enough to him turn one. Then up the hill.
Which page of the excuse book is that?
Being
Page
wrong
number
gear.
one.
What's your excuse for not passing me?
Yeah, I got out to an early lead. I was like, life's good. I'm just going to look after my tyres like Paul Ricard. I'm going to be like 2 seconds like faster than everyone at the end. This is in my head. And instead, these geezers are like going like quali laps from lap 1.
Yeah, but there's no deg.
Well, I didn't know that. I was like expecting...
6.
Shit.
6
You're
and
doing
1.
that one with me.
Anyway, Vips comes past, Max comes past. I'm like, all right, time to cut the shit a bit. I got to push. And so
This
I
is my
get
favourite
into
bit.
Max's toe. Life's good. I'm like, I'm still gonna win this. All good. And then I get on the radio to my engineer. It's like lap 10 of 20 or whatever. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna push.
This was on the broadcast as well.
It's broadcasted.
Okay,
Sky
now I'm gonna
Sports
push.
prime time. All right, mate. Paolo, tutto posto. I'm gonna push now. So I push, broadcasted. I catch you like 200s that lap.
2,000.
Two.
The next lap loses half a tenth probably, and never gains from his big push.
I was like, that's what that terrible realization.
What a penis.
You were in like the DRS train, and you weren't fast enough to pass Yuri, but you were just fast enough to keep me behind.
Yeah.
And it was.
But
just,
no one made a mistake that race either. It was the most frustrating race in the
But
world.
it's Red Bull Ring. Shouldn't you be able to overtake like pretty much every single DRS?
I just didn't have. I was never really. I'd have to do a crazy lunge.
Trust me, Clem. If it was possible, I would have. But I had that much pace in my pocket, I just
really
couldn't do
wasn't.
You just kept it in your pocket, you mean?
Yeah.
it. Anyway, oh far out. That was the one
It
that
was
got away.
really
I swear, mate.
frustrating.
I'm surprised you didn't fire it around the outside. Because I swear every time you get
just-
frustrated,
you're not
you
close
just
enough,
send an
though.
outside move.
We
and end up
never
on the
were.
wall.
I never felt like I was.
Yeah, Clem, were you in that race?
No, I was firmly in front of my telly on the couch.
Again, I was officiating it, and look, it was embarrassing.
Thanks, mate.
It was embarrassing. But
Still happy to be on the podium that day, though.
I was as well after the
Yeah.
first round.
thanks to all the other F3 cars for a great day's racing.
And obviously afterwards, you stayed in F3 actually the following year.
Probably shouldn't have, but yeah.
Pretty, let's put it this way, hard year. I was there as well. It was a pretty rough year for me as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a very tough.
To be honest, the highlight of my career was actually going around the outside of Max Fewtrell at turn 3 in Hungaroring. I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't remember any of that season. It's like been deleted from my brain.
Oh, so you've like just put it in the past
Yeah.
and just went, nah.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. So you don't want to talk about that, I guess.
No, we
well, that's
can.
one less topic to scrub
We
off
can.
the
I'll
list.
just need another glass of that if we're going through 2020.
Yeah, where's
that
the,
leaves us with golf.
Rory, can we figure out how to open this wine? It's one of them cork ones. I don't know how to do that.
This could be a
cork
podcast in itself.
He's a
Of you trying to
professional.
figure out the engineering.
Well,
He could probably do it with his like finger or something.
ding.
Do you know how to do this?
Yeah, you need a corkscrew.
Oh, you do?
How will you? It's not. Doesn't just.
Might be one in the bar.
Where's the waiter? He usually opens it for me.
I actually have done this. Are we rolling?
We are. Don't lean in. Remember to stick to your corners, boys.
So I've actually done this once before. I had a problem with my tooth, my molar. I was put a photo up on the screen for you. It's not good. It blew up the size of a balloon, and I was in so much agony, and I had no like paracetamol or anything. I was just like, the only way to remove the pain is just by drinking wine. So
That's good medical advice.
That's good.
So
Probably
I-
help with all the infections.
yeah. So
It's actually full of antioxidants.
I did this, and I screwed it in like that. Am I doing it right?
I'm just looking at Clem's reaction. He knows what's right.
It's
Is that how
like,
you do it? Is it not?
He's actually no. To be fair,
That's all right.
he's done it. But the only thing is, he just didn't rip off the sort of thing at the
Seal,
top,
yeah.
the seal.
Yeah, I've
so
seen that
it's
done
just gonna
before.
go all over like whenever he pours it.
yeah.
If you get a seal tasting
terrible.
wine,
And God forbid you get
What are you
some
doing?
wine
That's
on
gonna
that
go everywhere. You need to do that.
gorgeous outfit.
Hang on a second, lads. Look, what you got to do.
Here we
Tell you
go.
what you got to do, mate. Is you got to get the cork. You got to give it a wee sniff. How does it smell, mate?
cool.
Like wine.
I think that smells.
What's it meant to
pretty-
smell like?
Yeah, give Clem a whiff.
Mate, that smells grouse.
What is it meant to smell like? Wine.
So you got some.
Oh,
some-
here we go.
You got some. Definitely a little bit of leather in there.
Leather.
Some pepper.
Hang on, let me give it a taste to make sure it's not.
Black
cork.
cherry.
Rory coming in.
Yeah, so some cherry in there.
Right, so,
Some blackberry as well.
Hang on, I'm just gonna taste it. Make sure it's right. Smoky undertones.
Definitely, I told you it was the leathery sort of smoky.
Are we gonna have to censor this?
Listening to you say that in that tux, it's ridiculous.
Oh, hold on. Do you want a wine review? Welcome to Clement Novalak's.
Is that good?
Clement's Wine Corner.
Clement's Wine Corner. So
Do
here
you want
we've
to
got.
down that before?
Do you want to shut up in Clement's Wine Corner?
Just put some more in, thank you.
What is it? Allegrini from
All right, mate.
2017. So rather
Jesus
young
Christ.
red.
Would you like some?
Oh shit! Am I still drinking the Craggy Red?
Oh, now I know. Is it a different wine?
Yes.
Oh, that's why you asked me to down it. You should have told me that. I thought it was the same.
Okay. This was a present as well.
This is.
Okay, so this, you can already tell the colour's different.
Yeah, the colour's definitely darker.
We can compare that.
Yeah,
next
a
to
lot
the
darker.
last grape.
Yeah, for sure. I think. So definitely younger. What sort of year is it? 2017, I suppose.
2017. Yeah.
Correct. Exactly.
I saw
And
that.
what?
100%.
Definitely.
So, Marcus, what are you sort of smelling in them undertones there? Are you feeling anything from your nostrils?
Do you guys always drink wine on this?
We drink something.
It's new.
I
It's
don't
just
really know.
it's new. It's Clement Novalak's wine corner.
Why don't you use your own wine?
I could.
I bought
Do you
this.
make your own wine?
It's actually even my parents have said who they love wine. They've said it's really good.
Really?
I'm not even joking.
How am I hearing about this for the first time
Why
now?
have you not told them when you drink wine on the podcast?
I don't know. You know, I like to keep things on.
Or,
Anyway,
or is the vineyard
have
gone?
a gaze at it, Max.
Sold it off.
Reclaimed by the bank.
Sold it to get that suit. It's 2 great plots.
Smoky undertones.
Better or worse?
I don't think it's as good as the Craggy range.
Nothing is.
I don't like
Nothing.
this as good as the other one.
Well, it's because it's about as strong as any wine you'll ever have.
I can actually smell it, and you can see it from the little dry bits coming down on the sides here. You can definitely see the alcohol content.
And this is why we predominantly have female viewers for whatever reason. We have 98% female viewers on Screaming Meals.
What?
None of us can figure it out, to be honest.
I'm guessing it's because of the wine tasting and the stupid
I
outfits.
think it's James's outfits that drag the viewers in.
Quite possibly. I
It
mean,
is.
yeah, ladies.
Today they're going to be very happy.
ladies
with
love a city boy. It's,
Yeah.
that's a true
that.
fact.
City boy.
No, if you work in the city of London, if you're an insurance broker, if you're proud enough to call yourself an insurance broker or an underwriter, then you're a city boy.
Underwriter.
Underwriter, not undertaker. Common misconception. Underwriter.
Let's go into like a hypothetical situation here. If you were at a bar and you don't have a girlfriend, hypothetically,
Yeah.
how would you pick up a girl?
God, jeez, you're going back some years now. I'd probably stand in the corner, smile awkwardly, and watch her get off with one of my other mates. That's usually exactly how it went.
But you wouldn't use the city boy line.
Yeah. No. Well, look, we could go out right now and into the city, like next to the Gherkin and sort of where all that kind of carry on is, and it would just be Essex boys in suits trying to chat up anything within a 2-mile radius. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
It really is awful. But great fun. I'll just take you guys out on a work night out. Bust out the old expenses card again, hey?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Bust out the expenses.
How do you do it, Marcus? Actually?
Yeah. How do you go about hypothetically if you didn't have a girlfriend?
Oh, I don't have a girlfriend.
There you go.
I wouldn't know how to do it, mate. I'm fairly.
I don't know. I've seen you chat. It's probably not the best chat.
Well,
No, it's
But
very
normally
Ron
he
Burgundy.
has a few drinks and he looks at me. He gives me that look, don't you?
a real
It's
subtle.
that look, and I go no. He's like, I'm like no, Marcus, just stay here. And he's like,
And then I'll go up
he
and
just
I'll
looks
say,
at me and goes, fuck you, and then goes. Then tries to impress them with his broken Italian, which I've seen over the years gets better. When you first started learning Italian, you would only speak it when you were drunk.
It's
But
still
now it's
true.
very good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, there is a story about you. I think we talked about it before about how you did a full. I think it was a half an hour long debrief to
Engineering
your
debrief.
engineer
In
at
Italian.
about 3 a.m. in Italian by voice message.
Yeah, that was in the old Prema days. Nah, but that's a bit shameful, really. What I would normally do if I am going to speak to a woman is I'd firstly say, "Hey, do you follow me on Instagram?" And I'd be like, "Screaming Meals." I'd pull up Screaming Meals and I'd be like,
Oh, sure you would.
"That's me." Yeah.
I'm not sure about that one.
And
Not
most
sure about that one.
60% of the time, they'll be like, "Oh my god, no way! Do you know James Blair?"
Yeah.
The other go-to pickup line is, "Hey, I used to be teammates with Mick Schumacher."
See, like that would be funny for me if I hadn't heard this story before off air.
That's a large beep.
The worst. I've heard you say that not on a podcast.
Shut up.
The Instagram thing.
100%.
The Instagram thing in particular, because I know that what you do, and we might need to cut this out, but you do, you'll show somebody the Screaming Wheels Instagram, and then they'll lose interest quite quickly. And then oh dang, I've got another one, and then you pull up your other Instagram where you got the
I've
old
seen
blue
you do
tick
that as
going.
well.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
hold on.
I mean, I've
hold
done
on.
it as
I
well,
have
sadly.
the single greatest story about Mark. This won't go on. I know 100% it won't. But basically, we're in Budapest, right? We're out at the Grid,
Everything
the Grid
terrible
Club.
happens at Budapest.
Everything.
true.
And
That is
so
true.
Really terrible
Marcus
memories there.
literally walks up to me, and obviously we've had a fair few amount of drinks, and he just walks up to me and just goes, "Check this out, mate. This is the power of Instagram." He walks over to these two lovely-looking ladies, and put it this way, Marcus just goes, "Hi," and just hands his phone over, and just walks off. And he
How'd it
just
go?
goes, no. He basically chatted to them for about like less than 30 seconds and said, "Oh yeah, do you want to follow me on Instagram?" Gave him his Instagram and walked off. And he was just like, he came back to me and he goes, "Just look at their face." Just, they couldn't look more disinterested when he was
did
there.
not do that.
And all of a sudden they were drooling, and he was just like, "The power of Instagram."
He did not.
That may have happened. Well, you know that Max and I, we share a birthday, right?
That is
Yeah.
true.
You
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
You do.
29th of July. Seemingly always celebrating our birthday together in Budapest.
Something always
Always.
bad happens, I've heard.
It's terrible.
All roads lead to
Really
Budapest when
bad.
it comes to a big old night out.
Oh, mate. 2017.
No.
Wait, is
that-
this the Nico Hulkenberg year?
Oh,
I forgot you
Fuck.
told that.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. It's not good. Can't do
You're not a
that.
Renault driver anymore, you sweet ass.
Wouldn't
mate.
be either way now.
I don't remember much of that night. That was why it was good having
It's,
Juan
I think,
there.
yeah.
Juan was a great storyteller because he
Oh, he was there the whole way.
he's such a bad influence, isn't he? He's like he
No,
just
but he
feeds
wasn't
you.
drunk.
No.
And he was making us do
But it was
silly
also our
things.
birthday, so it was like he's trying
Yeah.
to give us a good time, you know.
Yeah.
What, a good time is waking up Nico Hulkenberg at 3
No, we
a.m.?
didn't wake him up. We didn't even
No, I know,
like
but,
go to the room.
I know, but you were thinking about it, which means, is
Oh,
that
it was
what you think
definitely
a
on the
good time
cards.
is?
It was definitely on the cards.
How
but
did you know we told that story, by the way?
I saw it.
When?
Got tagged in it.
Screaming Meals is all over the world.
People, I went live on Twitch, and the first 5 minutes of my stream was, "Why are you waking up Nico Hulkenberg? Why are you waking up Nico Hulkenberg?" I was like, how do people know about this? I was really nervous. I'd like thought something had been leaked, or
Well,
I was like, oh my
The
god.
thing
And then
is-
this said Screaming Meals. I was like, oh, here we go.
well, Screaming Meals is, as you guys told everybody on the first show, it's all about the truth.
Yeah.
So obviously things are going to come out, and the fact
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
had,
I mean, it was fine. We didn't do anything terrible.
no.
I think it's more on the hotel's side
Oh, for sure.
Oh, so
that
you-
they thought I was Hulkenberg and gave me a room key.
Oh, so
That's the
you
problem.
think you're never going to be able to stay at that hotel anymore? Is that what you think? Or
Well,
every
I'm-
time
no,
you
I'm
walk
fine.
in?
I'm saying I'm blaming the hotel for giving me a key card for an F1
yeah,
driver.
that's horrendous.
It is. They know he's here for the event. He should probably he's probably on some list of
VIP.
VVIP.
That's mental.
2 a.m. This kid rolls in. They give him a key for the
Three
room.
kids with a bottle of Dom P, just like.
We had 2 bottles of. Oh, how
and-
tragic is that? What
and-
are we doing?
Yeah, but I think, I don't remember how it went, but we were smart enough not to go in. We were like,
We
God.
didn't even go to the room. We
Well,
were on the
Jesus.
floor.
We were on the floor and we're
We
like,
never went near it. We knew that was.
you know, things are a
terrible.
great idea up until the moment you're about to do it, and you're like,
We got to the hallway and went.
maybe
Probably
we
shouldn't
shouldn't
do
do this.
Repercussions of this are not going to be good.
I'm going to get a call from the Renault Academy tomorrow saying, "Why the fuck did you wake up the main driver at 2 a.m. last night?"
Get to Renault's hospitality the next day. Nico's having a nap because he's knackered.
You know, that meme where the guy's key card doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh.
He's locked out his room the next day.
Imagine he sees this and he's like, I can't believe that almost happened.
Well, he's not doing much else, is he?
What would your reaction be if you were like you're racing the next day, you're off P2, and some F4 kid rocks up and wakes you up? What would comes into your room and just says hello?
Tell you what, I'd go out with them.
Yeah, I'd either join the sesh or throw the bloke out of the window.
Yeah.
I don't
Two
know how I
options.
would react, honestly.
I think, yeah, but when I wake up at that time of the night, I just feel like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Shut the door.
You'd probably forget about it. You'd think it's
yeah.
a dream or something.
Yeah, yeah. Why is there an academy kid stood in my fucking bathroom right
Were you
now?
still wearing your Renault Academy?
No. I think I had a... No, I didn't have a...
You're wearing my clothes.
I think we should probably move on to Max's golf.
Golf.
Obviously,
Yeah. What's your handicap at the moment?
Yeah.
Probably around 12.
Okay.
Not
That's pretty good.
It's
What
all
about
right.
yourself,
Yeah.
James? You're an avid golfer.
I run around about a 22, 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
We
not
just
good.
we were out in Austin doing some filming. I don't know if you watched the
Good. Yeah. I messaged
That was
you
like
the other
a
day. It's
dream
fucking
come
good.
true.
Who's good?
They're like this big golf channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're
cool.
really
They do
blowing
cool
up at
shit.
the minute. They just hit a mil. So
What
That-
is the obsession with golf? I'm yet to get there.
It's the same as I
don't know how to explain it.
because it's really hard, and when you get it right, it's great. But
it's so
99% of the
rewarding
time
when you hit a
it wrong,
good
it
shot.
sucks.
It's like
I've gone to the
getting a hit
driving-
of something when you hit a good shot.
I've gone to the driving range about 1,600 times.
But it's
and I hit
different,
one
mate. When you
shot.
hit an absolute beauty of a fade onto a green, it's
fade,
right
Yeah.
by the pin.
When,
Oh,
when you're
bro.
hitting a target and you're not
This
just
is a different
sending it.
language to me, yeah.
like
Like,
So you
when
got
we-
a fade and a draw.
I've done like a mini golf before, like when
It's
you
like port and starboard.
Yeah.
They just
you
make it
you'll
right.
you'll probably be hitting big slices, which are really right.
Yeah.
And you don't find your ball.
We had the conversation, or rather Callum Ilott and I had the conversation out at the last round of IndyCar there about potentially doing a Screaming Meals Invitational.
You should.
Getting a bunch of drivers together who will play golf and getting out there.
A
and
lot
having
of
swing.
people are getting into golf at the moment.
Yeah.
Massively.
I
Well,
do see
lockdown
it,
was
yeah.
big for it.
Yeah.
Lockdown was massive.
That's what got us into it.
Mm.
Once lockdown finally finished, we went out. We were like, let's just go play golf.
Yeah.
And just kind of got hooked on it.
yeah, I missed that.
Because when we were all driving and stuff, we don't really have a lot to do in the day, really, do we?
No.
There's not a lot of things we do
Oh, the
between
amount of-
races.
Well, actually, funny you say that, actually, because the last sort of productive and entertaining sort of lunch break I had was when I called you on an Instagram live,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Anam, and then Dan Ticktum, and I pretty much got the whole 2014 grid back together on an Instagram
did, yeah,
live.
I remember
That
that.
was probably my last productive lunch hour at the racetrack, which was
Exactly.
about a year ago. So yeah, I do agree.
yeah, and we just got hooked because me and Lando are quite similar levels. Whenever we play against each other, it's really close.
Yeah.
So you just have that competitiveness, and then again, like you said, that
What about-
wanting to improve because it is so hard and it's so rewarding.
What about Tom Bale? Is he sort of on the same level?
He's getting a lot better. I mean, his swing like kills me when I watch it. It like makes me want to cry every time he hits the ball. It's that bad.
but
but-
somehow he gets it any
Somehow
somewhere
he had
around
this
the hole.
round the other day. He must have been 8 shots off me, which for him
That's
is
pretty
really good.
Yeah. Which
Which is really good for him. Just watch the swing and it goes straight. I'm
I'll
just
tell you
stood
what,
there
if
like,
you're about to cry,
how?
if you're going to cry looking at Tom's swing, imagine the state of mine. I can actually show you one of mine.
No, but Tom's arms are like abnormally long, so they like wrap round his head. And then this club comes round. I don't know. It just hurts to watch.
Yeah, but I bet tell you what, until the
If he
moment
nails
gets,
that, them arms, mate, the speed he'll get with
That's
that
what
club.
I was going to say. The moment he's going to get his
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
drive going,
Yeah.
mate, this geezer's going to be out driving Rory
He has
McIlroy.
to use kids' clubs because his arms are so long anyway. So they're like, the club's only about that long. No, but he's gotten a lot better. And we're all into it, so it's good fun. Just
Yeah.
go dick around on the course for you.
Do you
with
enjoy
the
like?
buggies.
Do you enjoy like since you've left racing,
Mm.
you've sort of started this entire different lifestyle in
Yeah.
a sense where I don't know. I don't even know how to describe you, but if I could like zoom back at it, like when you first started doing all this stuff, I was like, Max is the sort of guy that you like in 20 years you look up and he's like Jimmy Kimmel or something. Like it's just like one of those blokes that just can chat the legs off a chair.
Any response to that?
I mean, I can like chat a lot.
So
bollocks,
what I'm
yeah.
asking is like, since you've left motorsport, is it almost equally as rewarding sort of having success in other areas?
I mean, yes, it is. I think like it's definitely a whole new life for me, and I've had to adjust to it because so growing up racing, it's been my whole life.
Yeah,
and
when you're
what I
focused on
wanted to,
that.
it was my dream, you know, to get
Yeah.
to F1. And when you have to like really say goodbye to that and face the reality of it's definitely not happening, that was tough. And then I'd say the only thing I struggle with now with the not racing is when I come to the races and watch you boys. I'm like, God.
Because
You
I,
wish you were there.
I
do
have
miss
I have
this.
the opposite
Yeah.
problem where I see them race and I'm so glad I'm not out there.
No, I'm. Sometimes I get really like I have a think to myself like,
well, I know
I
that
miss this a
if
lot.
you joined F2, even if you joined F2 tomorrow, and okay, it'd probably take you a couple of races to get back on it,
Yeah.
like to get your instinct back into check.
Mm.
But I'm sure that had you not done F3 the second year and just gone straight to F2,
Could be in a completely
it
different
could be a
position.
completely
Yeah.
different story. Like, look at Enzo this year. Like, you'd see him last year, you wouldn't expect him to be where he is now. It's just one of those.
No, I
F2
know.
is one of those championships where either
That,
clicks
that's
or it
also
doesn't.
what I think about, like, what could have been. But I think I can't have that mindset because I'll just drive myself crazy for the rest of my life. So
But to be honest, if you want to scratch your racing itch, as we say, us Screaming Meals boys, we're thinking about having a little karting day and bringing a
should
few
definitely do
drivers.
that.
Actually,
I'm up for that.
we were gonna go tomorrow. I looked and I said, look, there's a race on on this Friday, and then that turned out that was last year. So that one we're still waiting on confirmation, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
that was last year. Oh
yeah,
my
so-
god!
so yeah, boys,
But yeah,
there's one on at Whitton Mill this
It's
Friday.
never too late,
13th.
mate. It's never too late. We could start Screaming Wheels racing series in karting,
That could be cool.
You
or
should do a team. I'll join. I'll be your first driver.
like a 24-hour race.
A 24 would be great.
I think it
24
would
would
be
be really
great.
good. You get a lot of people up for that.
I think Rory would like literally get on the, do sort of like a, how would you say, like a documentary on the racing
on the
life.
shoulder of it, like he's in the car with us.
Yeah,
That'd
Just
be
on the
brilliant.
back.
he's on the back bumper. You want to get roofed into the first corner with Rory on the back, would you?
Caution.
Oh, we could get some gambling elements involved. So you could sort of people could place their bets on how many positions is James going to lose for the team when he jumps in.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That could be really good.
Yeah. Yeah, ditch the Screaming Meals Invitational. Let's Screaming Meals Grand Prix. I'm into it.
I reckon we'll get Clem in as the qualifier. Because, naturally we want to start off the back.
He's the
And then-
only one.
I was about to say, Clay was the qualifier.
I was about to say
Hold
he's
on a
the only
minute, boys.
world champion in the room.
I'm joking, Clem. I love you.
World champion from what?
Karting.
He's world
Yeah, if you discount Logan Sargent, yeah,
He's
I am world
vice.
champion.
Or he's Logan Sargent's not in
Vicey.
the room.
No, technically I'm actually world champion because
But where did you cross the line first or second?
crossed the line first in my head because I couldn't see him anymore.
Yeah, but then there'd be a lot of races or championships where I could just do that. I've won everything I've done then.
That's true.
You couldn't see the guy in
Completely
front.
flawed thought process that is.
It's true. You won F4, you won Formula Renault.
Won
You
F4.
didn't quite win F3. But
Not
there were
really.
the
I
3
didn't-
red obstacles in the way.
There was 3 red objects that were like the red arrows, mate. 3 fighter
Yeah,
jets.
actually, we were thinking about this. We discussed it actually with Felipe when we were going back to that 2019 year. We said he put it perfectly in saying that he thought they were driving a Mercedes Formula One car, and you fellas were just driving around in an F4, basically.
It was like a different category. And I don't want to be that salty driver like, they had way better cars when my crew's done, but come on.
I'll allow it.
No.
Dude,
No,
that-
mate. I agree. Like
That was like a joke. You even came in to me sometimes, you go, "Mate,
Sorry.
even if I do a shit lap, I'm still top 5. And I'm just there like, oh my God. I've just done the lap of my life and I'm 6 tenths off each sector.
Oh, it must pain you to know that, like, in the truck, me, Jahan, and Robert were like, we are the dogs, bollocks, mate. We're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then we'd be putting money on, like, how much... Jahan and I, we used to bet, right? Corner by corner. Like, who's going to be quicker? We were just having a laugh, We're like, life
Imagine
was so
that.
good.
You're so up the road, you can just bet with each other on who's going to be faster in that corner.
Isn't that how you? Isn't that the reason you owed him like 2 or 3 Zuma lunches or
Yeah,
dinners?
no, I owed him about 1,800 euros, mate. I took him on holiday to Marbella. I was like, how else am I going to pay him off?
Yeah, but if you bet him like turn 3, he's just going to focus that whole session to turn 3. He'll be like 12th, but come in, you're like, I've won the bet. Dizzle turn 3.
Actually,
4 tenths.
there was a circuit like that in a way in New Zealand, Tokoroa, which is a real place.
Yep.
And the
Great track.
timing line was more or less on the apex of turn 1.
Yeah.
And so if you just sent it off the road
If you
at the
didn't
end
brake,
of your flyer,
Like the timing split would be on the apex of the corner. So if you just don't brake,
yeah, you'd be pole.
you're on pole, mate.
But
Oh,
you'd
it's kind of
also
like
be
Sochi then.
But you
so
also,
hard in the bin.
Yeah, you got a new.
Last corner, you always start off the lap really well to get a drive down the straight, but then you literally just don't even brake into the last corner because the line's literally 20 meters outside
Mate,
of the
I think
last
if
corner.
I cut half of that track, if I did half the distance of Sochi in my car, I would still not have beaten your lap time.
I actually really liked.
But
the
we
Sochi
were there.
circuit.
We were there testing.
That was the biggest advantage.
Yeah, but we were there testing like a couple of weeks before that in F4. So
chance
it was legal, actually. Funnily enough, we did like a
Do you know what it is? The douche.
no, because Robert was obviously SMP, Russian, and all that. So we went out there. Robert wanted to do the test for himself, and obviously Renee was like, "No, you're only doing it if the two others join you." So Robert had his own car, and Jahan and I shared another car, and they didn't even have the material to make a seat. Like we were literally sitting in the tub with like just a couple of foam like pillows,
Really?
and we did a 2-day test. I think Jahan and I shared like a set of tires for 2 days. And I actually remember vividly because he fucking locked up at turn 1 on like the first morning, and I had a flat spot for a 2-day test.
Oh, Jayan, I love that.
And we arrived for the first FP in Sochi, and like no exaggeration, we're like 2.5 seconds quicker than everyone. It was bizarre. It was like one of the best moments of my career, I think, is looking at the timing screen. Armstrong, Schwartzman,
I'll never
Daruvala.
forget. We were all in the hospitality after that quali, and there was the whole onboard from Robert.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think about the whole grid. We were all sat around this one table. We don't really talk to a lot of the other drivers. We all came together in this sad moment to watch Robert's onboard, and we all just looked up after watching the whole thing and went, "Fucking hell!" Everyone just went, "We've got no chance."
To be honest, the only other time, as you said, like drivers coming together, I tend to see it a fair few times this year. I've actually seen it, but it doesn't seem to be the drivers' briefing, as I was mentioning in a few episodes ago. It tends to be on Sunday nights. There's tends to be a congregation of
gathering,
drivers.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Lundgaard
It's
won that
brilliant.
part. Lundgaard won 2019.
Oh, champ!
After
He
party.
went deep purple sector 1,
Jesus.
2, and 3.
Red flag in sector 3 though.
Oh, he
Oh,
does.
massive
no,
red.
actually, yeah, he crashed last corner.
Yeah.
Tubbed it.
Tubbed
Completely
it.
tubbed it.
Airlifted to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was.
He actually did get ill.
Yeah, it could have been.
He needed to be.
I mean,
I got the video.
Are you alright, Christian?
It was like this. I was like, bedtime.
So speaking about fighters, what are we all doing? So Abu Dhabi's coming up. We should talk about some
Are
Formula
you
2
coming to Abu
stuff.
Dhabi?
Maybe.
Surely.
Get your ass to Abu Dhabi.
Last
mate.
year was
the
like-
Screaming Meals
oh,
clan is going to be
We've
there with
got
bells on.
a
Were
crew
you with me that night,
out there.
Sunday?
We've got a crew of about 14 people on
Yeah.
Sunday night.
that's
Look,
Marcus.
I've got
Oh,
a crew.
he was there as well. Sunday, Abu Dhabi last year. One of the greatest
don't know.
evenings of my life.
Was it?
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
I remember why, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Sunday night in Abu Dhabi.
Sunday night should be a
I might just fly in for that.
Yeah, that's basically why I'm.
Yeah, just flying on the Sunday. Fuck the race.
Land Sunday.
7 a.m.
Send
7
it.
p.m. Sorry.
Straight to the airport back.
Let's if we can digress back into some motorsport briefly. You obviously were running P1 in a sprint race, shock,
Was I?
in Abu Dhabi last year, and then what happened, mate?
Were you
Yeah, you were. I was watching it.
Yeah. You
So
know
was
how
I.
from 16
Sadly
rows
watching it
back?
from the fucking grandstand.
you know that great feeling you have when you push the gas and the car just does nothing?
Oh yeah, I remember.
You
this.
push the right pedal and it just goes.
Yeah, that was most of my career.
It's just your stomach just goes.
Yeah.
It's like this moment of just.
What do you reckon your best race win was? Like your most satisfying
Yeah.
moment in motorsport?
I hear this huge silence as if you've got to think, because either there's been so many
There's
or there's
there's
been
not
so
really-
few.
Not so huge. Not really one stands out to me. I've not had a crazy race where I've come like from last to.
The
P1.
big
Most
one.
of the wins have been like from the front. So
Mm. Those are the best ones, though, I reckon. When you control it from
The
the
boring
front.
ones.
yeah, I had a few, and like even in Formula Renault where it's just led the whole thing,
Mm.
no mistakes, just solid.
Yeah, there's
Whole
nothing
way
better. No
through.
safety cars, just like
yeah, just
bosh.
you feel like you just check flag comes out, you like just dominated
Mm.
that. See you later, boys.
You know, the
Yeah.
worst feeling in the world is something I actually had in Formula 3 last year, where I sort of did the first 10 laps of the race pushing so hard. I mean, it was quali lap after quali lap. And I sort of extended that
Rookie
gap. I was in
mistake.
P1, and the guy in P2 was about 4 seconds back. And I was like, the moment I thought, fuck, if there's a safety car that comes out, I am dead.
You are
As in, I have...
finished.
I don't want to get a shot, but I probably will. I was looking at my tyres and I was like, there ain't nothing much on these bad boys anymore. And safety car actually came out and dropped back all the way to, I don't even want to tell, but yeah.
Was it Zandvoort?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember watching that. Crying from the TV, yeah.
It was a rough day for
Now, I don't want to get a shot either, but I also want to...
I'm not
Well,
doing
Max is
7.
on 6.
I'm not
currently,
doing
so-
6 shots.
When you get Deg, people watching the TV listening to Crofty and Martin, they're like, when they start talking about tires, losing tires, blah blah blah, they don't actually know what it feels like, right? When you're when you're losing
No,
tires.
most people watching haven't driven a Formula.
No, but they just
You
know
don't
the expression.
Get Deg on your Corsa on the way
Explain
to
to me, Clem, what it feels like to just lose tires.
Why are you asking him like he's the expert in this? What does it really feel like to really lose 15 places?
I've seen him dead quite a few times. He's raced in Bahrain in Formula 2 for a start.
Well, basically, if you want me to put it into sort of 2 sentences, feels like sliding. It feels real shit. Essentially.
Yeah.
You're going around corners and you're just, you know you want to turn, it don't turn. You want to put the throttle down, you want to accelerate, it just don't accelerate. You want to corner, it just don't corner.
Does nothing.
Is it
you
like
want.
driving in the wet, but it's dry?
Yeah, essentially.
Sort of. It's like driving
With
on
a
a really
tail-
sandy track.
With a
It's just-
tailwind down to turn
horrible.
10 in Bahrain, and you start
That's
looking...
quite possibly the worst last sector in the world with no tyres.
No, but you know that long entry, the
I
left-hander?
know, mate. It's horrendous.
You start locking at about the 200-meter board, and you continue locking all the way to the apex.
To be honest, one thing that I felt in the preseason test is you start locking before you even brake.
It like knows you're about to brake.
Yeah.
The tyres are like, fuck him.
Pretty much. And then you go around that last sector at Bahrain. I mean, it is the sweetest thing ever when the tyres are in.
Did you drive at Bahrain or not?
In F3, I did the test there where we had a massive tailwind into the second last corner. Where I didn't even need to turn the steering wheel to go round it.
Yeah. Love it when that
It's
happens.
like this. You get on the power and it's
Yeah.
you lose 4 tenths down straight. Lovely.
mate.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Then cross the line, come over the radio. Good job, P12, 110 sector 1, 310 sector 2, 810 sector 3. Which is what, 2 corners?
Two
last-
corners.
Yeah. Good that.
Arthur Leclerc is P1.
Really don't miss
Well done.
those times. It's that radio, as soon as I hear it. Okay, so that was it.
Well, actually,
Here we go.
funny you
unplug.
say this because
I did in my last ever collie.
Oh my god.
I unplugged the radio.
oh mate,
It's always a French engineer as well. Why is it always a
You were
French
saying
voice?
this on the last episode. You were
It's
going.
like bad news always comes in a French accent, right?
I had the similar
Okay,
thing
Marcus.
with back when I was in Trident. I had my engineer come on, and there was 2 distinct ways he would start the radio call. So if it was okay, Clem, good job, you knew you were in the top 10, and he went, okay, Clem, stay calm. That's when you knew.
You're not in the top.
That's when you knew there was a second in a sector. Okay, stay calm, but there is 1 second in sector 2.
1 second. And there's 2 corners in sector 2.
Oh, 100%.
Good luck, mates.
We get the same thing in the insurance world, where when you get your emails, you read the front of it, and if it's "Hi James," you know it's fine. If it's just James, it's what have I not
We
done?
get the same in the insurance world.
Yeah.
Class.
Oh mate, it's a sport of its own right. Mate, imagine waking up every day and every day is race day. That's the kind of pressure that we're under as athletes.
Kind of, yeah.
essentially. You know, we got to get up and perform 7 days a week, mate. No days off.
I remember when
That's the real tough stuff.
I remember when I was at school and I had to bloody wake up at 8 a.m. That was painful.
No,
enough.
you didn't.
Yeah,
Was that
You
in the-
didn't go to school.
Yeah, I was going to say, would that be the 2 days that it happened?
Oh god, that
Your
was...
first ever day.
They love taking the piss out of how long I went to school for.
About
Because
16
it's just
hours.
so easy.
Was it 16 or
No,
24?
I went to school for. So what's 51% of the school year?
Oh yeah, and Lawson did you by 1%. He went to school for 52% of the school
You
year.
did 1 year.
No, in
Harvey.
high
Yeah.
school. In high school.
Can't you tell?
Yeah, this is kind of evidence.
No, I thought I should let him off. I thought there was something wrong there.
Yeah. Where was I?
Not
Exactly.
school,
Um,
basically. Not school.
Should we
is
take a
where you
toilet
are.
break?
Yeah.
Not school.
You can't handle the pressure.
Now, Max,
Do you like my glasses?
Fuck me.
I've got a comment, but I can't say it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Are they that bad?
what were you saying?
Now, Max, I was saying, obviously, since you've retired from, taken a sabbatical, you've become an avid Twitch streamer.
You can say avid. I mean, I
Now-
definitely should stream more.
What's your favourite
Uh,
thing to stream?
Call of Duty.
I love streaming COD when I'm playing with my mates, but because I'm not like the best player in the world, like, doesn't do as well.
Yeah.
People want to watch. If I'm going to watch a live stream of someone playing Call of Duty, I want them to be literally the best
Amazing.
player in the
How
world.
do you rate my performance on the old?
You're one of the
COD?
worst players I've ever had the pleasure of playing with.
Like,
Thing is, there was this 3 months in lockdown where he texted me because I'd play with him and he was so bad. I'd be like, can't do that again. Like, I love Clem, but can't do that again. Then he
I got
texts me
better.
2 weeks later, mate, I've got better. Trust me. Give me another shot.
That doesn't at all surprise me. He would have practiced one
Yeah.
time.
Comes on again, still shit. Another 2 weeks.
Is that how you pass
Bro,
your time?
I
Clem?
swear this time I've got better. Comes on, still shit. I could just scroll off my WhatsApp and that would be our conversation. Trust me, bro. Chief Medic's better now. I'm back. Comes on,
Medic. Now,
gets 2 kills in about a 4-hour session.
the reason why I was chief medic was because, see, all of these guys that I was playing with were men of action. They went out there with their guns and they started shooting. And obviously, I had no skill whatsoever, so I was just lying out back.
You got in
And
survival mode, right?
Yeah. And whenever they needed a revive, old chief medic was here. Shh.
I'd be literally like shooting 5,000 bullets at this whole team. Turn around. Clem's just in a bush over there. I'm like, Clem, fucking get over here, you idiot.
So the
I
one
go
time-
down and he like crawls out the bush, comes and revives me and goes back to the bush. It was great, to be honest.
Yeah, the one time I played Call of Duty, I was of your mindset. I was thinking, look, this is no place for heroes. Like, you just
This is no place for heroes.
you get those guys, the characters out there running around, shooting and doing whatever they do, and I'm just going to find a nice quiet place and hide. How I would act in a real war. Like, that's
Yeah, I don't
exactly what I would
blame
do.
you, yeah.
I would just find somewhere, sit there, and wait for it to all be over.
I've
but to
never
be
never
honest-
played the game before.
Well, yeah,
honestly.
Marcus isn't going to understand anything I was saying, but my strategy, you see, going into a game was, as the circle closes, if you're fully plated up and you've got your loadout, you're mint for the last circle. So as long as you don't do any shooting and you get to that last circle, you're mint. You're going to win. But it just never happened.
No, it didn't for you. But then when we get to that last circle, when I needed his help, he just die. Then I'm on my own against 4 other blokes.
Because I'd be shooting up at the tree.
You
I
spend
remember
30 minutes getting to this last moment of trying
Actually,
to win.
I
and he
remember.
fucks it.
I remember this one time where I was on top of a roof and the circle was perfect and the enemy was right below, and you and a couple of other drivers had died already. And obviously, when they die, they're watching my screen and they're giving me pointers
Oh,
like,
God.
"Clem, do this, do that."
Mate.
It's 45 minutes a game, right, to get to that point. So they've been hard at graft for 45 minutes, and I'm there with my sniper rifle out, and I swear down, I wasn't steamed, but it might have looked as if I was.
I bet you were.
Because
mate.
my bloody aim was all around the bloke,
Mate.
and I just couldn't shoot the character
Why
on the
does it
screen.
not- at
I've
all
never had
surprised
so
me.
much more anger than that moment.
Oh yeah, he's never played with me since.
No.
All right.
I'm sat there sweating, watching this, like, exhausted from the game. He just needs to hit the guy once. The bloke's like this. I'm screaming,
you
Clem,
know,
Clem, Clem.
Max.
Fucks it. I
Max-
wanted to come to your house and run you over.
He came to the gym with me not long ago. Switching subjects to
Yeah.
something that I actually do in my spare time, believe it or not. Clem, do you do it as well? Do you know what a gym is?
Do you lift weights?
Yeah, you obviously know what it is, James. You're in shape.
I went to the gym for the first time
in my
in
shape.
6.5 years a few weeks ago,
bit of Tim
and
Pump.
I won't be going back.
Right. Well, good for you, mate. You're looking
Sharp.
I just
Beautiful.
I just stress the weight off. That's how I do it.
Stress it off.
Yeah, just stress it out.
Drink it off.
Stress it out.
Well, he came with me recently, Ash and myself. Did you enjoy that session, Max?
It was good.
I was really, really upset after
He
that.
was destroyed.
I was so sad.
Why?
Because, like, I sort of trained my whole life, right? I train about 3 hours a day, like, no exaggeration. Max was like, oh, yeah, had a couple of drinks last night. I'll come over, have a session with you, but I just want to take it easy, right? It's like a heavy lifting session. So, like, max bench press, max deadlift, all the rest of it. Max is like, he's literally matched me on every single exercise.
I
be honest,
haven't trained for like
I
2 years.
am completely surprised you said this because, honestly, last week, I see some drivers as having amazing dedication, but I've never seen someone like Marcus Armstrong coming back from 3 steamers in a row, and he looks at me and he goes, "I'm gonna go to the gym." The
It's a good
morning
hangover
after.
cure.
Oh, it's not.
It is.
No,
It is.
No,
It's quite
look, 8 paracetamol
I mean,
and a
I would
tactical
never
cry.
do that.
That's a good hangover cure.
Tactical cry. I've never heard of that.
That's how I get through it. And then you go to work.
A tactical cry.
Yeah, tactical cry before work, and then off you go.
How does that go?
You don't want to see it on camera, mate. It's not pretty. You know when Kim Kardashian cries?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
way
not that
worse
bad,
than
surely.
that. Way worse than that.
You see, what I'll do is you got to sweat out the toxins, don't you? So you got to sit on the bike for about, just like I did that day, you remember, sit on the bike for about 40 minutes to an hour.
Couldn't think of anything worse.
Get the blood pumping, listen to some tunes, listen to How Wacky Big Show.
No, of course.
Um,
To be honest, for me, hangover cure, hair of the dog, mate. Just get straight back on it.
Same.
It is true.
Same. 100%.
Get back on
that's
it.
dead right.
Halloween, I was never hungover.
I bet you weren't, mate. It was straight back on the hardware.
The biggest mistake I made was that once though, and I think you've probably heard this story a few times from my girlfriend. Whereas we had our staff Christmas party the night before her dad's birthday, and we went out. We went pretty hard, and then I had to fly to Bologna the next morning to meet them out there.
This is the best story.
And I thought to myself, look, it's pretty bad form if you show up to your father-in-law's birthday hungover. So the obvious solution is just to get shit-faced again. And so I showed up. The last thing I remember is seeing them walking towards me at the airport, and that's where I black out. And she was like, "You were unbearable all day.
I've heard the story
All
from
you
her
ever
perspective.
said, you just said grazie ragazzi to everyone, regardless of context. If you were getting into a cab, you said that. If you were getting cash out of the machine, you said it to the machine. It was horrendous. And so that's the one time it's bit me in the ass. But every other time, magic.
Hair of the dog.
But him in a nightclub, I must say.
Oh,
I've-
it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
far out. It's amazing. When
Those
Shakira
hips,
comes
I don't
on,
know, those hips do things I've never seen before.
There's a switch at the back that just disconnects. It's like a diff lock.
To be honest,
Yeah.
ask Marcus. I've tried to reproduce those hips not long ago.
Mate,
And I'll tell you
you're
what,
either
mate,
born with it or you're not.
Yeah.
Like,
I was clearly not born with
But
it.
in saying that, James has obviously been practicing in his bedroom,
The past
4 days a
16
week.
years.
4 days a week.
Hips Don't Lie, Shakira.
A multitude of things. Often Mariah Carey lately, big. That's because you can really get a sort of slow sway rhythm, getting with that kind of stuff. And then if you want to go a bit more aggressive, mate, it's Pitbull all day, every day.
What's that?
Pitbull.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I got it. Yes.
See, I mean, that gets them swinging. Even yours started fucking getting a little bit
I'm gonna
loosey-goosey
keep
there,
it
mate.
nice and tidy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
keep
actually,
them nice
you don't
and
want to
tight,
keep it
mate.
too loosey-goosey down there because we know what your situation is on the trouser front, but...
Yeah, I don't wear undies.
What, you stop?
Should we just end the podcast there?